Unlock trading flow state, master mindset, crush losses. Why your brain sabotages 90% of trades. Imagine you're sitting in front of your trading screen. Everything looks perfect. The chart is forming a familiar setup. Your indicators align. You've seen this before and taken the trade dozens of times. But something feels off. Instead of acting with clarity, you hesitate. Your hand lingers over the mouse. Your heart rate climbs. A quiet voice in your mind starts second-guessing. Is this really the one? You pause too long. The market moves without you. It takes off in exactly the direction you anticipated, but now you're just watching it go. Frustrated, you jump into another trade. This one is rushed, without proper confirmation. It loses. Annoyed, you take another, and another. Suddenly, you're in the middle of a spiral. The technicals didn't change. Your strategy didn't fail. What failed was something deeper. It was your mental state. If you've ever been there, you're not alone. This is one of the most common, yet overlooked problems in trading. And here's the truth no one talks about enough. Your mindset isn't just important in trading. It is everything. You can have the best strategies, the most accurate indicators, the perfect risk plan, but if you're not in the right mental state, none of it matters. In today's video, we're going to explore why. We'll uncover the invisible force driving every decision you make. We'll dig into how your mental state changes your ability to see clearly, act decisively, and stay consistent. We'll also look at the neuroscience of flow, what actually happens in your brain when you're in the zone, and how elite traders condition their minds to get there again and again.
Because the difference between a trader who consistently performs and one who sabotages their own edge usually comes down to what's happening internally, not on the charts, but inside your mind. There's a reason why two traders can look at the exact same chart and make completely different decisions. One sees opportunity, the other sees risk. One executes with confidence, the other hesitates and misses. It's not the market that changed, it's their internal state. Every trade you take is filtered through your mindset in that moment. Your focus, your emotional regulation, your level of self-trust. All of it shapes how you perceive the market and how you act. And the scariest part is, most traders aren't even aware of this happening. They assume their decisions are logical, technical, based on strategy. But in reality, the mental lens through which they interpret the market shifts constantly. And if that lens is cloudy, if you're stressed, distracted, or emotionally tilted, the decisions you make will reflect that. Let's take a step back and look at some real-world examples. Think about the story of Nick Leeson, the rogue trader who brought down Barings Bank. He didn't fail because he didn't know how to trade. He failed because he lost control of his mind. After taking initial losses, he doubled down, hiding his trades, trying to recover instead of cutting his losses. His mental state, driven by fear, denial, and ego, overpowered his logic, and it cost billions. Or consider Jerome Kerviel at Société Générale. Same pattern. The technical skills were there, but once the mental pressure mounted, he slipped into reckless behavior. There are countless cases like this. Traders with skills, knowledge, and resources who still blow up accounts. Why?
Because they underestimated the invisible force behind every decision, their mental state. Now contrast that with someone like Paul Tudor Jones. He famously said that the most important variable in trading is not the market, it's the trader himself. He talks openly about the importance of meditation, mental preparation, and emotional discipline. He understands that mastery in trading is mastery of self. This is not philosophy. This is performance science. Your nervous system, your brain chemistry, your emotional awareness, these are the true indicators of whether you're positioned to trade well. And the market doesn't care how smart you are. It reacts to how clear, consistent, and stable you are. If you're tired, anxious, overconfident, or distracted, you will start to see setups that aren't really there. You will rush, you will doubt, you will deviate from your plan. Mental state is the amplifier. In the right state, you execute your edge precisely. In the wrong state, you become your own biggest risk. So if you've been jumping from strategy to strategy, or blaming your tools, or trying to force better results with more information, pause. What if the problem isn't what you know, but how you show up? What if the most powerful upgrade you could make has nothing to do with charts and everything to do with what's happening behind your eyes? Now let's talk about what happens in your brain when you're trading at your best. That state where everything feels smooth, natural, almost automatic. You're not overthinking, not second-guessing. It's like time slows down and you're locked into the rhythm of the market. This isn't luck. It's not random. It's a neurological state called flow. Flow is a state of peak performance, first studied by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
He discovered that people enter this zone when they're fully immersed in a task that challenges them just enough, not too easy to be boring, not too hard to cause panic. When the challenge matches skill, the brain enters a powerful performance mode. For traders, this means being fully present, focused, and emotionally balanced while making decisions in real time. So what's going on under the hood? When you're in flow, your brain undergoes something called transient hypofrontality. That's a fancy term meaning the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for self-criticism and overthinking, temporarily quiets down. This silence allows you to act without hesitation. You're no longer bogged down by internal chatter or doubt. Instead, your brain becomes a high-speed decision machine. At the same time, your body floods with a cocktail of neurochemicals: dopamine, which drives motivation and reward; norepinephrine, which sharpens attention and energy; anandamide, which enhances lateral thinking and pattern recognition; endorphins, which reduce pain and stress. These chemicals don't just make you feel good, they optimize your perception, speed up reaction times, and expand cognitive bandwidth. That's why flow feels effortless, but produces some of your best results. Dr. John Coates, a former trader turned neuroscientist, studied professional traders and found that those in high-performance states could improve profitability by over 200%. Not because they learned new strategies, but because their mental and physiological systems were fully aligned. They were in sync with the market and with themselves. But here's the catch. You can't brute force your way into flow. It's not a switch you flip. Flow requires preparation. It requires removing mental clutter, regulating your emotions, and creating the conditions for presence to emerge. And most traders do the exact opposite. They roll out of bed, check the markets in a reactive state, chase setups, and wonder why they feel scattered. You need a system. Just like you have technical rules for your trades, you need psychological rules for your state. How do you enter flow? How do you stay there? How do you reset when you fall out of it? The answers aren't mystical, they're mechanical. And once you learn how to create flow on demand, everything changes. The trades you used to hesitate on become automatic. The distractions that used to throw you off barely register. And most importantly, you stop fighting the market and start flowing with it. Every trader operates from a mental state, whether they realize it or not. And the truth is, most of the time, they're not in the optimal one. To understand where you are and how to improve, we can look at a simple but powerful framework: the 4 mental zones of trading. These zones help you recognize how your state affects your performance and what adjustments you can make. The first is the anxiety zone. This is where your mind is flooded with noise. You feel tense, over-alert, and reactive. You hesitate before entering, exit too early, or overtrade in an attempt to calm the discomfort. Decisions come from a place of fear or the need to avoid pain. This zone is where most impulsive losses happen. The second is the boredom zone. In this state, you're disengaged. You're watching the markets, but your attention is scattered. Maybe you're flipping between tabs, scrolling social media, or half-watching price action without focus. This often leads to taking trades out of boredom, ones that don't align with your plan, just to feel something. It's quiet self-sabotage.
Then comes the apathy zone. This one is dangerous. It happens after a string of losses, burnout, or emotional exhaustion. You feel numb. You don't care about the outcome. You start thinking things like, it doesn't matter, or whatever happens, happens. Traders in this zone are most likely to take reckless bets or abandon discipline altogether. Finally, there's the flow zone. This is the sweet spot. You're focused but relaxed, alert but not tense. Your actions are deliberate, your decisions feel clean, and you're not attached to the outcome. You're just executing. Time feels like it slows down and you're in rhythm with the market. This is where consistency lives. Knowing your zone is the first step to shifting it. So ask yourself, when you last lost money, what zone were you in? Were you anxious, bored, checked out? Now think of your best traits. How did you feel? Chances are they came from a state of clarity and presence, not force. The goal isn't to live in flow all the time. That's unrealistic. The goal is to catch when you're drifting away from it and course correct before it costs you. That awareness is your edge, and it starts by naming what you're experiencing in real time, without judgment, just recognition. Now let's get practical. If flow is the optimal state, and the wrong mental zones are sabotaging your performance, what can you actually do about it? How do you shift from anxiety, boredom, or apathy into clarity and precision? The answer lies in having protocols. Just like you have rules for risk and entries, you need rules for your mind. We'll start with the 5-phase mental priming routine, a pre-market ritual designed to set your internal system for focus and readiness. Phase 1 is mental clearing.
Before you look at any charts, take 5 minutes to clear mental clutter. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and let your thoughts slow down. The goal is to break the loop of overthinking and bring yourself into the present. A few deep breaths, even just 10 slow inhales and exhales, can shift your nervous system out of fight or flight. Phase 2 is physical activation. The body and brain are linked. A stagnant body leads to stagnant thinking, so do something to wake up the system. It could be stretching, walking, push-ups, or even shaking out tension. Physical movement sends signals to your brain that it's time to engage. Phase 3 is market alignment. Now you bring your attention to the charts, but not to act. Just observe. What's the market telling you today? Is it trending? Is it choppy? Are there big news events ahead? This step is about synchronizing your awareness with the current conditions, not carrying over bias from yesterday. Phase 4 is intention setting. Here you define your focus for the day, and the key is to focus on process, not outcomes. Instead of saying, I want to make money, you say, I want to execute my edge cleanly. Set 1 to 3 process goals. Things like, follow my entry rules exactly, respect my stop no matter what, or walk away after 3 trades. These intentions anchor your mind. Phase 5 is state anchoring. This is a short action that reminds your brain to lock into the mode you've just built. It could be writing a sentence in your journal, saying a phrase out loud, or tapping your chest with your hand. The ritual itself doesn't matter. The consistency does. It tells your nervous system, this is game time. If you build that pre-market ritual into your routine, you'll notice a huge difference in how you show up. It's not about hype or motivation. It's about preparation. Now, what happens if you're in the middle of a session and you feel yourself slipping, overtrading, getting emotional, hesitating? That's when you use the 3R reset. The 3R reset is a fast mental reset you can use in real time. Step 1 is recognize. Pause for just 5 seconds and ask, what am I feeling? Is this coming from clarity or emotion? The goal is to create awareness, not judgment. Step 2 is release. Take a deep breath and physically shake your hands or move your body. The key is to interrupt the emotional loop. You can even step away from your desk for 30 seconds. The body shift helps the mind reset. Step 3 is re-enter. Now you decide. Do I continue trading or do I stop? If you're back in a calm, clear state, continue. If not, walk away. Even 5 minutes of space can prevent hours of regret. These protocols may sound simple, but don't mistake simple for weak. They are powerful because they create structure in the most chaotic environment, your own mind. And the reason most traders struggle is not because they lack a strategy. It's because they keep trying to apply it while emotionally compromised. Another key tool is the performance journal. But this isn't a traditional log of wins and losses. This is a journal for tracking your state. After each session, write down your pre-trade state, your post-trade feeling, and rate your performance on a scale of 1 to 10 based on execution, not outcome. You also write one key insight. What did I learn about myself today? This practice builds emotional awareness and shows patterns over time. You'll start to notice that certain mental states lead to consistent results and others don't. You can take this further by scoring your session across a few categories. Did I follow my plan? Did I manage risk correctly? Did I stay in my zone? You give each one a score, and over time, that data becomes more valuable than your profit and loss. Because the real win isn't making money on a single trade. It's being able to repeat quality decisions over and over, regardless of market conditions. And repetition comes from consistency.
Consistency comes from process, and process lives in protocols. If you've been trying to improve by adding more indicators, consuming more market news, or tweaking your strategy after every loss, maybe it's time to shift your focus. Maybe the breakthrough doesn't come from outside, but from building an internal system that supports the trader you want to become. Even with the best routines and protocols, you'll still face internal resistance. Certain mental patterns sneak in and pull you off course. The key is knowing what they are, how they show up, and what to do when they do. There are three major obstacles that sabotage traders repeatedly: overtrading, ego, and distraction. Let's start with overtrading. This usually stems from a dopamine loop. You take a trade, your brain gets a hit of anticipation, and win or lose, you crave the next one. It feels productive, but it's reactive. You're no longer trading your plan, you're chasing stimulation. One way to break this loop is the 3-trade rule. You set a hard limit of 3 trades per session. Once you hit it, you step away, review, and reset. This constraint forces quality.
It teaches you to wait, to filter, to be patient, and it trains your brain that discipline, not action, is what gets rewarded. Next is ego. Ego shows up when you feel the need to be right. It whispers things like, just hold, it'll come back, or you can't let this be a red day. The problem is, trading isn't about being right. It's about being aligned with the market. Ego pushes you to double down on bad positions, ignore your stops, or prove a point to yourself or others. One antidote is what we call the morning humility ritual. Every morning before you start trading, you remind yourself, I don't control the market. I control my behavior. I'm here to execute, not predict. Saying that out loud grounds you. It shifts your identity from hero to operator. Finally, there's distraction. This one is silent but deadly. Small interruptions, phone checks, background noise. They fragment your attention, and trading requires full presence. You can't be half in and expect full results. Build a protection protocol. That means turning off notifications, setting a do not disturb window, creating a clean workspace, and letting people around you know this is your focus time. Even small changes, like trading with noise-canceling headphones or using a minimalist setup, can make a big difference. None of these demons are personal. They're patterns, and patterns can be changed, but not by accident. It takes conscious effort, consistent action, and self-awareness. If you're not winning the mental game, you won't last long in the trading game. So treat your mind with the same respect you give your strategy, because ultimately, your performance is not just what you do on the charts. It's how you manage yourself in the moments between decisions.
Trading is a mental sport. And like any serious athlete, you can now use tools to track and enhance your performance beyond just the charts. We're talking about technology designed to help you understand what's happening inside your body and mind in real time, because what you can measure, you can improve. One of the most powerful tools is heart rate variability, or HRV. This is a measurement of how well your nervous system is handling stress. A high HRV usually means you're calm, focused, and in a balanced state. A low HRV means your system is under pressure. By wearing a simple device like a chest strap or a smart ring, you can get real-time feedback on your stress levels. Some traders even set alerts. If their HRV drops too low, it's a signal to pause, breathe, or stop trading. Another option is brainwave tracking. Devices like EEG headbands let you monitor your brain's activity. When you're in flow, your brain tends to shift into a mix of alpha and low beta waves, a calm but alert state. If your brain is too active or scattered, you'll see more high beta waves, which often means anxiety or overthinking. By tracking this data, you can begin to spot what your best mental state feels like and learn to recreate it. Besides hardware, there are also apps that help guide your internal state. Breathing apps, focus timers, and guided meditation tools can all support your rituals. Use them before the session starts or during breaks to reset your system. Some traders even sync these tools with their trading routine, using audio cues or visuals to prime themselves before entries. The point isn't to rely on gadgets forever. It's to build awareness. Technology gives you a mirror, so you can catch mental slippage before it becomes costly. Once you know how your optimal state feels, you won't need a device to tell you.
you'll feel it. And that's when your trading becomes a performance, not a gamble. So now you understand what most traders never learn. It's not just about setups. It's about state. Your mental state is either sharpening your edge or dulling it. And the difference between a good day and a bad day often starts before you ever press the button. Here's your challenge. For the next 5 days, before you trade, do the 5-phase mental priming routine. Just 5 minutes a day. Clear your mind, activate your body, observe the market, set your intentions, and anchor your state. After the session, rate yourself, not your P&L. Rate your performance. How well did you follow your process? How present were you? What did you learn about yourself today? Write it down. Track the pattern. By the end of the week, you won't just have numbers, you'll have insight. And that insight will become the foundation for consistency. If you found value in this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And in the comments, let me know what zone you've been operating in lately. Are you stuck in anxiety, drifting in boredom, checked out in apathy? Or are you touching flow? The first step is naming it. The next step is building systems that support the state you want to be in. Because markets will always change, but if you master your mind, you'll always be ready.